Do you know what is a dynamite? A dynamite is a explosive, as you can see over here. Dynamite is a powerful explosive substance, a thing or person that causes great excitement or shock. Okay, this is important for us, great excitement and shock. Now from this dynamite word is coming another thing that is called as the dynamic. What is the meaning of dynamic? For that you can see about a person full of energy and ideas, okay, used about a force or power that causes movement. Okay, so heavy movement and like a forceful movement we can say. And now it becomes so easy to understand what is a psychodynamic approach or a psychodynamic framework. Okay, a movement that is moving rapidly, it changes and things like that. Okay, so now in this question, in the psychodynamic framework, which concept refers to the defense mechanism, which is again IMP. If you are sitting for IHBAS 2025, make sure that you study defense mechanism. Guaranteed 1 mark you can score from there. Okay, where an individual unconsciously attributes their own unacceptable thoughts or feelings to someone else, thereby avoiding direct confrontation with those feelings. So now this question can be answered just based on the C book. If you will refer to the C book, I guess in the personality chapter you will find these defense mechanisms. Okay. About rationalization, projection, displacement and sublimation, what are the differences? You have to figure out for the next time because they are going to ask definitely about that. Okay, so make sure that you study very well for the upcoming examination these defense mechanisms. Now, what is the correct answer over here? Correct answer is your projection. What you are doing, an individual unconsciously attributes their own unacceptable thoughts or feelings to someone else. Okay, so what you are doing basically is you are projecting your unconscious these feelings and all those things, thereby avoiding direct confrontation with those feelings. Okay, now this is called as the projection, and as you can also see in this program of CMP, if you are having these, then you will have these notes and you will have this defense mechanism and cognitive distortions over there as well. Okay, so cognitive distortions, if you have not watched the previous lecture, so make sure that you watched about this thing, the complete history and all the things about cognitive distortions, what they are and what different types of cognitive distortions there are, we have discussed in our previous videos. Okay, so if you are a part of a CMP member telegram group, you would have by now these notes. So what is the correct answer? Correct answer is your option number B, projection, not rationalization, not displacement and not sublimation as well. Moving forward, this is our question number 29 in research. Now you are having questions from research and stats as well. So make sure that you are preparing very finely and very neatly and very precisely, because research will be always important for you. In research, what is a confounding variable? Very simple basic question. What is a confounding variable? You will find in the A book and you will find in the C book. Nothing else you need to do apart from this. The paper demands from you what? It demands from you that you study the basics very well. Okay, they don't want hi-fi study from you, they want are you better with basics or not. So now the question says, in research, what is a confounding variable? So first of all, option number A variable that is intentionally manipulated. Obviously not, it is called as the independent variable. Okay, that we intentionally manipulate is called as the independent variable. A variable that influences, we will see this later on, a variable that only affects the dependent variable. Okay, so a variable that only affects the dependent variable, it is obviously not the same thing. A variable that measures the outcome, they are talking about the dependent variable over here. So what is left with us is a variable that influences both the independent and dependent variables. Okay, so this is an important question and this is an important concept as well. Okay, confounding variable. What is a confounding variable? That will influence independent variable as well as it will influence dependent variable as well. Okay, so make sure that you remember this thing. The confounding variable will always influence the independent variable as well as dependent variable. So let's make a improvisation over here. You know about CID. So confounding variable will influence independent and dependent as well. Okay. Now moving forward, hello everyone, welcome back once again. You are watching this thing. I mean, this is part number 3. And if you have by chance missed previous 2 parts, then make sure that you are reading and writing and making notes from there as well. Now this question is once again a very basic question. That is why the cutoff is always high. with limited number of seats. You have to be very precise. Which brain structure is primarily involved in regulating emotions such as fear and aggression? As soon as you saw this about fear and aggression, obviously hippocampus is not going to be the thing because it is associated with your long-term potentiation and long-term memory formation and all those things. Okay. Now, hypothalamus is obviously, if you have watched the previous video, NFSU part, then make sure that it is called as the big boss because it influences your endocrine glands. Okay. Now, if you don't know what is endocrine glands, make sure that you watch part number second and part number first for complete detail. Are these ductless or are these without duct or duct glands? Okay. Now, cerebellum, as you also know, is mainly known for your coordination and that balancing and all those things. So if you have seen ballet dancers, they are working because of this cerebellum, right, just from the starting of their brain stem. Okay. Now, in case if you don't know the mnemonic for spinal column, it is CTLS. Okay. So let's suppose if this is your brain and this is your spinal column. So frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital and temporal. Now, what is this? This is first in the cervical region, then the thoracic region, then the lumbar region, and then the sacral region. Okay. Now, but what is the answer over here? Answer is option number C, amygdala, because it is involved in regulating emotions and fear and aggression. Okay. Aggression is also IMP because there are two more popular theories about aggression. One is given by your Dollard and Miller. Okay. And you have seen in the previous video we discussed about Dollard and Miller. Agreed? Yes. And that is why PYQ is important. Now, moving forward in the nature. See, I am seeing this question again and again in every PYQ which is being solved on this channel. So make sure that you get your concept clear about tabula rasa or blank slate at birth. Okay. So what is the concept behind this? That when you are born, you are with a blank slate. Nothing is in your mind or nothing is in your whatever that region is. Now, who has given this concept in the nature versus nurture debate? Okay. Plato, Rene Descartes or Descartes, however you want to pronounce, John Locke or Locke or Immanuel Kant. Okay, so what is the correct answer? Just memorize this as it is because it will help you. John Locke. Okay, John Locke was what? He was an empiricist or rationalist? Comment down below. I don't know. Was he an empiricist or rationalist? Comment down below about John Locke. Okay, now obviously you know about dual theory of this thing, that body and mind, we are having this thing, Rene Descartes, and Plato was also doing something, and this is the mnemonic for the chronology. First of all, Socrates was born, then the student came Plato, then came the Aristotle. Okay, so have you ever been to Spa? Make sure that you remember this thing, Socrates, Plato and Aristotle. And what? Correct answer is John Locke over here because he argued, which early philosopher argued that the mind was a tabula rasa or blank slate at birth. It was given by your John Locke. Now moving forward to the next one, in social psychology, reactance is. And I guess I have told you about this in previous videos as well. What happens in a reactance theory? Let's suppose I am telling you to like the video or comment down below. You will never do that. Why? Because of the reactance. And why that is, we will find out. The tendency to comply with direct request. No, we are not talking about compliance over here. Okay, this is the statement for your compliance. The tendency to comply with direct request. Maybe foot in the door in the face, or whatever that can be. Now, the motivation to restore freedom when it is threatened. The effect of persuasive message. Okay, option number B is the correct answer over here. The motivation to restore freedom. You don't want your freedom of liking and commenting to be authorized by someone or be motivated by someone, or your freedom should not be taken away from you. That is why you behave like that, and it will cost you eventually because parents told you to study, you don't study and you get in different circumstances of your life. Now, what is the correct answer? Option number B is the correct answer. Whatever is being told to you, you will always do opposite of that. Okay, always do opposite of that. If parents say come home before 6 p.m., you will always come at 8 p.m. If they say 8 p.m., you will always come at 10 p.m. If they if they tell you come before 10 p.m., you always be around 2 a.m. and things like that. So that is called as the reactance theory. Now, the effect of persuasive messages on attitude change. We are not talking about persuasion as well, as well as the elaboration likelihood model as well, and the tendency to follow social norms without question. That is also not the thing. We are not dealing with conformity over here as well. So option number B is the correct answer. Which of the following is an example of the power of roles? This is a very IMP question, and everything you will find in the C book apart from option C. because there are many more concepts and many more things related in this particular question. As you can see, option number 4 is talking about Robert's cave experiment. Now, who has given this? It was given by Sheriff. Okay, Sheriff, the experiment called as Robert's cave experiment, which deals with your superordinate goals. Okay, so competition and cooperation, we can deal out how things are happening in the arena, as well as the contact hypothesis is also related to that. So all these concepts are being coming from the net examination as well. Okay, so if you do PYQs of net, it will be more useful for you. Now, Milgram's message experiment. Okay, obviously not milligram, Stanley Milgram. Now, do you know it is 15th of August that this guy was born? Okay, the independence of India and Stanley Milgram's birthday is the same exact date. So Milgram's message experiment, obviously no. Zilstein shock research, no. They have just missed over there. And the correct answer is your option number D, Zimbardo's prison experiment. Okay. And if you have not watched that movie, I mean that Stanford prison experiment, make sure that it is, I guess, 1.5 hour around. If you watch that once, you will never forget that Dr. Philip Zimbardo prison experiment. Okay. And that was also a question in recent examination. So it is called as Dr. Philip Zimbardo prison experiment, which told us about the power of rules, and that is why after this experiment the rules and regulations to conduct an experiment and ethics, all these things come into the picture. Okay, so let's suppose if they ask you next time after which experiment the ethics and this thing came very strongly, it will be always the Dr. Philip Zimbardo's prison experiment. Now talking about this, we talk about the power of roles, and as we are talking about power of roles, there were prisoners and jailers, and one important concept related with this is de-individuation. I hope you know this meaning of de-individuation. If not, it's completely okay. What does it mean? If you are in crowd, you will lose your personal identity. Okay, so let's suppose, see why there is what? If let's suppose there is a thief and he took away someone's purse and he get caught over here. So what happens over there? There are 20 people around, and obviously it does not mean that out of these 20 people everyone is having an attribute or everyone has a personality or temperament to beat others or things like that. Okay, maybe the scariest person also standing over here will beat this guy, the scariest one. Why? Because of this concept of de-individuation in social context or in social gathering and things like that, where there's a crowd, there are more people. What we eventually do, we lose our own identity. Even if we are fearful of others, we might take different actions if we are in a group and we are with more number of people. Okay, so I hope you got the correct answer for this. That is option number D, Dr. Philip Zimbardo's prison experiment. Moving forward to next question. Dash ensures assignment of subject of a population to treatment groups in such a way that for any given assignment to a treatment group, every member of the population has equal probability of being chosen. Okay, or chosen. So what is the correct answer? I guess again, why I don't know why the maximum answers are B only, out of nowhere. So what is randomization? The statement is given. Just get this. It is so simple. Randomness, no. Stratification, no. Random sampling, obviously no. We are not doing sampling. So what happens eventually? You can also, if you watch that movie which I just mentioned about Dr. Philip Zimbardo, called as the Stanford Prison Experiment. It was conducted in the basement of Stanford University. So the movie name is Stanford Prison Experiment, and in this experiment, what was done, how the people or how the guys or persons over there, they were chosen as the jailer or the prisoner. How they were chosen? They were made a toss. Okay, so what does this toss suggest? It suggests the randomness. If heads come, it will go to this side. If tails come, he or she will go, I mean he majorly, he will go to this side. Okay, so the toss was conducted, and this is called as the randomization. No biasness was there, that okay, it was Zimbardo's staying in Zimbardo's vicinity or living near this guy's home or house, then he will be a jailer. It was not like that. So in every research, everywhere, randomization is the most priority that is given to everything and all. Let's move to next question. Which of the following hormone is being secreted by adrenal gland? Now, where this adrenal gland is situated? Is it situated around your kidneys? Okay, so just above your kidneys. How many kidneys you have? You have two kidneys. So obviously, you are having two adrenal glands just above your kidney. Which of the following hormone is being secreted by adrenal gland? And what is the correct answer over here? Cortisol. Obviously, see why cortisol? Because if you have studied about stress, then there is the activation of HPA axis. What does it signifies? It signifies hypothalamus pituitary axis. So first of all, hypothalamus will send a message to pituitary gland, and this is the axis. And from here, the anterior one, okay, anterior one will release ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, and then it will go to the adrenal gland, and from there this cortisol will get released. Okay, so obviously A is the option, as well as epinephrine is also secreted by your adrenal glands. So option number C becomes correct, A and B. So do you know from where this melatonin is secreted, or how this is influential in sleep maybe, or wake cycle, or things like that? Do you know? Make sure that you comment down below from where this melatonin gets secreted. Okay, so now as you can see, this adrenal gland is situated right above your kidney. So obviously two kidneys, two adrenal gland you are having with your kidneys. And when we will deep dive into this adrenal gland, if you ever study biopsychology with me, then you will have this capsule and see your adrenal gland is divided into two basic parts. First is your, as you can see, the cortex and the medulla. Okay, so from this cortex, you can also associate, from this cortex releases the cortisol. Okay, cortisol for your stress and all those things. This cortisol is released from the cortex, and this epinephrine is released from this medulla thing, from between one. Okay, so this is the outer part from where the cortisol is released, and this is the middle part from where what will released, this medulla thing, it will release from the, I mean, what will release, epinephrine will release from this medulla thing. Okay, and if you want to check that, let's have a look into this picture as well. So we are having mineral corticoids, glucocorticoids, androgens, catecholamines, and peptides. So okay, so you will understand norepinephrine and norepinephrine are what? These are catecholamines. Okay, and from where they are coming? Medulla they are coming. And cortisol and cortisone are called as the glucocorticoids. From where they are coming? They are coming from the cortex, as you can see. So obviously I can remember properly. So now you know adrenal gland is releasing cortisol from the cortex and epinephrine from the medulla. These are the what? These are catecholamines, or these are what? These are glucocorticoids, and these are catecholamines. And option number C, A and B becomes the correct. Don't forget to comment down below from where the melatonin is getting released. Now this thing again, people are likely to invest less effort in a task when they are working with others. What is this phenomena called? Go and read C book, NCRT, everywhere you will find this question. Okay, wait a minute. Can you see this thing? And can you recall anything? Pretty obviously, Dr. Philip Zimbardo, that experiment, social roles, and all things will come into your head ASAP. Now, social loafing, social facilitation, this concept was given by whom? If you know, please comment down below. Because if you can recall quickly, as soon as I say who has given this, who has given this, then it will be more beneficial for you in the examination hall. If you take efforts, open that keyboard and type in the comment section. Now, what is the correct answer? It is social loafing. And as soon as we talk about social loafing, this image will come into your mind. What is this? This is the example of your social loafing. If anyone cheats in between, then obviously every one of them is going to die in this particular scenario. So now you know social loafing is the correct answer for this. We are not talking about social facilitation. Now what does social facilitation signifies or tells us? It tells us that whenever we are performing in front of a crowd, we are doing better. Okay, and obviously this is not a sleeper effect. Now moving forward, okay, do you know about the glass ceiling, not glass ceiling, do you know about the ceiling effect and the floor effect? If yes, comment down below without Google, obviously. Now moving forward to the last question for the day, from where we stopped our second part. So this video is part number 3, co-presented by part number 2 and part number 1. So if you have missed your IHBS series question paper of 2024 watching first and second part, then make sure that you have watched part number 1 and 2 for better understanding, and part number 3 obviously followed by upcoming parts. A graphical representation of correlational data. And any day, my friend, if you have studied from me previous PYQ videos you have watched, you know about bell curve, and you know about the complete history, and you know about the different names. And if you are unknown about this, or if you are watching this video for the very first time, if you don't know about bell curve, make sure that you watch all videos on our channel. Eventually you will understand everything, and you will be blown away that how the things are so simple. It's just that you are unaware of. Now Chi-square, obviously, what is the degree of freedom? We have also discussed r minus 1 into c minus 1. R stands for the rows and C stands for the column. Obviously, you will apply this and you will get the degree of freedom for your chi-square. As soon as you can see bell curve, you can also associate what is the skewed distribution. We have also talked about the beta 1 and beta 2. So make sure that you watch NFSU series as well. And those watching NFSU will always feel that this question paper is very easy. Okay, so now what is remained? Obviously, scatter plot is remained, and that is the correct answer. A graphical representation of correlational data is called as the scatter plot. So what is a correlation? A will go up and the B will go up is called as the positive one. A will go up and B will go down is called as the negative one. A will go up and nothing will happen is called as the zero correlation. Okay, and these are the simple things, and we can have a graphical representation for that, and that is called as the scatter plot. If we talk about the parametric one, what we are having Pearson's R, and if we talk about the non-parametric one, we are having the Spearman rho over there. Okay, and I hope you remember the French word NOIR. If not, make sure that you watch all our previous videos. Those who can recall NOIR, it's so simple. You just cut the cake. You are getting the non-parametric on this side, you are getting the parametric on this side, and you are good to go. Any day, any question, you will be not able to mark incorrect. You will never mark incorrect if you know this French word. And with this, we are finished with our part number 3. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And if you want this question paper, you can have this in the Telegram group. Join the Telegram group from the link below, and what? You will have this question paper over there. And if you want to boost your preparation, you can join the CMP membership program, and from there, whatever study material are provided over there, just read that again and again. The PYQs, everything you will get, and it will be good for you. Thank you and have a nice day. Sorry, good night. Abhiyanto.